Okay, is my screen visible? And I think can begin the session. So I have just uploaded all the previous session videos. So those who have missed it, please go through. So last 4 videos from functions, right? So user defined functions, lambda function, filter, reduce function, map, enumerate, generator expressions, and yesterday's session also regular expression pattern matching examples. So along with this, I have also uploaded the material. So whatever you are able to understand, you can follow it, right? Yeah, that I have enabled. That I have enabled. This right? Which question? Yeah, just the output was missing. I think it's enabled now. You can just re-execute. So just to make you understand that only, I have just taken one example here. This is like, I think, yeah, that question only it is. Yeah. So like what was the question is that you have to remove all the alpha numeric characters, right? I mean, sorry, you have to remove all the special characters and only keep the alphanumeric characters from the string. So you are reading the input from the user. And for this, I've used sub function. So some people might have used some other function. So anything that works for you, you can understand. So here I have taken the function as sub, re.sub. And this is my regular expression. So what does it say? Cap of. So what is this cap of symbol meaning? Yeah. So what does it move? What does it basically say? Can anyone just revise based on yesterday's session? What does the meaning of this regular expression? So basically, it's not excluding. What does this regular expression do is it finds out all the uh, alphanumeric characters. I mean, except the alphanumeric characters, any other characters that are there in the string, it will find first. It will filter. And once it filters, it will replace with this null. I mean, this is an empty space, right? So we are first finding them and replacing with null from this original string, right? So this is how you can do it. Yeah, some people slash w, yes. So slash w also you can use. So I'll give one more example for that. Suppose if you want to change the same question in different way, right? I will add just one more slash s and I'll add plus here. Okay. I'll copy the same input. Now, can you tell me what is the difference here? Or we'll take some other different, some other example. Okay, what is happening in this case? Is it same question or is there some differences there? Yeah. So in this case, I've added just an extra regular expression character that is backslash s, which means space. Plus means these things can appear one or more time, right? So instead of removing the spaces, I'm just keeping the word as it is, or the original order, so that we can get to know which characters appeared in what word, right? So this is how you can modify. Suppose if you don't want to use sub function, you can use like which I mentioned. You can use re dot find all, right? So you can use find all and w plus. Okay, w plus is for word, more than one word, and you can pass the input string to it. Mm. Okay, so in this case, what we are doing, we are finding all such words which contain only alphanumerical character, and we are excluding the special characters and printing them as separate values. Yeah, no, that will also work. I mean, substitute also will work. I'm just using how to use your own function based on understanding, right? You can use sub also, you can use find all also. But here again, I want to print them as a single value, right? So you can just join them together. Result equal to, just with a single space, you can join dot, using which function? Join function. Just pass the value. Okay, so this will also work. So based on the understanding, you can use your, whatever the function that you try to understand, you can do it. Okay, I'll give two more examples so that you can you can understand how to apply the regular expression. I mean, based on multiple conditions, right? I think I already given one question based on Gmail. You need to, I mean, not Gmail, in general mail ID. You have to get the domain name of the email, right? That is one question. So similarly, I'll give one more example. So let's create the pattern first. So I want you guys to carefully analyze what does this pattern do. Sorry. Okay, so this is a very lengthy pattern. Can anyone guess what it could do? I'll give you the sample email ID here. You can take your college email ID itself if you want to. Just take, for example, abcd at consider the mail as abcd at jritcollege.com. Suppose this is your email ID. What this pattern is trying to look for? And I'll give one more one. abcd at jrit.in. These are the two emails for reference I've given. Based on these two emails, can you understand what this is trying to extract? What does this first one do? This is the regular expression. And this is another capture group. So, yesterday I told you bracket, if you use it, is called as a capture group. right? It will capture the multiple patterns that you're looking for into a single value. So slash w plus means obviously there should be some word, alphanumerical word should be there. That is, after that et is there, right? So what does this et represent? So I'm looking for alphanumerical value before et, right? That is the first thing, and I want to capture it separately. Then after et, again, differently I've used it. You can use dash slash w plus also. But after that, I just want only capital A to Z and any digits if there are there in the email ID. Plus means more than one. Then backslash dot indicates I mean I want dot after that, right? So I want dot after that. Then again after dot I'm looking for the one more group of values where it should be only uh, alphabets, not any other numbers, and the range can be 2 to 4. That means okay, I have to make it as 2 comma 4, right? So that means it can be either two values or four values, right? So overall, yeah. So Nikhil Siddharth, basically, so we are just separating our email ID and trying to find out this particular values separately and print them, right? So then this pattern I'll try to use using find all, re dot find all. Then we will pass this pattern and our input emails. Then I'll try to use flag variable, flags equal to re dot I. So that means ignore case, right? So whether it is a small or uppercase, both it should match, right? Though I have not used here small a to z, this will take care of that, right? And then we'll try to print print the result. Okay. So can you see what basically it has done is it has extracted all the values from the given email ID separately. Before it is separating and capturing them as a single value. After it, until dot, it is capturing this and printing as a separate value. Then after that, I'm looking for 2 to 4 characters length of domain name, right? Domain extension, basically. So you can give multiple email ID with a space. Right, so you can see that it is separated, but I don't want to print them like this. I want to print only the values. Means what you can do, you can just uh, use the for loop, and you can try to print just I and C. Okay, so you can print on the separate line, and if you don't want to see this additional characters, just unpack it and you will get the same output. Okay, so now we are just separated all the names before it, right? And after the dot, after the et and before the dot, the domain name we have extracted, and similarly after the dot, the domain name. So now you understand the meaning of this 2 to 4. Why I have given this 2 to 4? 2 to 4 indicates after dot you need to have exactly either 2 or within the 4 characters. You can have 3 also actually. Right. In this case, 3 is more than enough, right? Because generally you see the email IDs will be either .com or .in, right? Rarely will find domain names which have 4 characters after the dot. Any email IDs which have 4 dots after the dot, four alphabets after the dot. As far as I know, .in, .com, right? .in is for India, .com is for commercial website. Is there any other email ID which you can just think about? So you can, based on that requirement, you can give this group, right? So 2 to 3 indicates exact requirement. So neither less nor more. So what happens if I give more, for example, dot commercial, if I write, still it will access only up to that particular value, because we have given the ranges 2 to 3. So remaining value will be ignored. So this is how you can use this pattern matching functions, so that you will be able to get what exactly you're looking for. So I'll just try to modify this, and suppose now this I want to print it neatly so that you get to know what I'm trying to print here. So let it be the same pattern what I've used here. Okay, so instead of find all, now this is find all I have used here. So instead of find all, we can use search function, re.search. We can pass the pattern and the email IDs and flag for making it case insensitive, re.I. Right. So next what we can do, only if we get such kind of pattern, if result means only if we get such kind of pattern, we want to print. So how will we print? So see, for example, I will print like this. Yeah, obviously in this case, I can't provide more than one value. I have to just provide one value only because we are using search, right? So search will immediately stop once it finds the pattern. Okay. Now you can see we are printing it much neatly, and you can observe why I'm using 1, 2, 3 in the group. Yesterday, I told you what is this group basically do for the search function. So it will capture the search value and store it as a separate output, right? So res dot group of one means we are, as per the requirement, we are only looking for the particular value, right? So group of 0, if I print, it will print the entire email ID, but I am using a group of one. So first username, then group of two will print the domain name, then group of three will print the extension, right? So if I pass any invalid email ID, so here for user understanding, he will come to know that he has entered the invalid email ID. So for this kind of application, the pattern matching will be very useful because you are giving such condition for the user where he is not allowed to enter any wrong email IDs. Correct. So that just to make sure people enter the right data, we can use the pattern matching technique so that we collect the valid data from the customers or the users, right? So this is how the complicated patterns also can be generated based on your own understanding. Whether it works or not, you have to just try and just come up with your own patterns and practice it regularly. So definitely you will be able to make nice pattern matching problems, right? So that is all about pattern matching, which we discussed yesterday. These are the two extra questions which I tried to cover so that you know how to create this kind of big patterns. Okay, any doubt in this? So this you just need to know complete valid email. If you want to print, you just need to match dot group you can write. Sorry, not match dot group, res dot group. Okay. So if at all your entered data is valid, you are going to print the complete valid email ID and then printing the individual data separately. Okay, so this group function in our search can be used for that purpose, depending on your requirement. Any doubt in this? Yeah. Understood, everyone? You need to, do you want me to explain this pattern or is that clear? Shall we move to the next topic? Which part you want, Aditya? Which part you didn't understand? Yeah, RE dot group basically, uh, suppose if I try to print directly RES, suppose I'll just print RES. So what it is printing? It won't print the exact value. It will print the object. We call it as a match object, right? So search will not directly print the data in the user readable format. It will print it in the object format, and it will give the range also, index also, right? That is starting from 0th index up to 21. We got the correct match object. That is what it will display. So to convert it into user readable value, you have to use res.group, right? So you can see if at all the pattern is matched, it will print the value as it is. But 1, 2, 3 we are passing. The reason being there are multiple patterns here, right? See, if there is only single pattern, then we need not to mention this 1, 2, 3. But there are multiple capture groups are there. This is one capture group. This is another capture group. This is another capture group, right? So whatever the pattern you mentioned inside the bracket, that is called as a group of characters that you are looking for. So that is what this group will collect, and it will assign them in the indexed order. So this is the zeroth. I mean, by default, it is entire search pattern that you are looking for, and group of one means the first capture group, second capture group, and third capture group, right? So anything that you mention inside the normal brackets will be considered as a single set of value, and those will be stored based on the index position. So that's why we are getting the output and printing it in the separate order if it is required. Or else you can just print the search is successful, email ID is valid. You can just print in that way. But if you want to access them individually, this is what you can do. So that is what group is used for. And group should be used only with the search function, right? This will not work with the find all function. So search and group both are going to work together. So you should know which function works with what particular module, right? That clarity we should have before using them. Whatever the result is there, that we are just using dot group to extract the individual data. Hope that is clear. Yeah. Okay. So quickly we'll go to the next topics because as I told you, we have, I think, as I'm planning assessment test on third and fourth. So I think next week hardly we'll get one or two class. So I'm going to just cover the basics of data structure, searching, sorting, and up to stack and queue, right? So this week, as I wanted to cover a few more topics before we, move on to the final assessment. And please remember, there is OOPS concept also. As of now, not required. So you can learn if you are interested from the W3 scores. Okay, Python class and object. This is as of now not required. But if at all, if you're interested, you can just explore how to create the object-oriented programming. So I am just covering the topics that you might that might be useful for your product batch exam. So all these are advanced topics. Even like today's topic, exception handling is also not required. But I want you guys to know that because it's very powerful. Okay, so exception handling is our next topic. Okay, so exception means basically it is a kind of error which you get when you do the problem solving, right? Some kind of syntax error, logical error, right? Those are called as exceptions. So basically, if I want to give a simple example, let's take some p-value as 20, and I'm trying to divide that b by 0. So what is the error you're getting? we cannot divide a number by zero, right? So that is called as zero division error. Okay, so zero division error. That means compiler won't allow you to divide any number by zero. So this kind of errors, you need not to get it. But even if there is a possibility that a customer is trying to divide a number by zero, your platform should throw some kind of error message and let the person understand, let the customer understand that this is not allowed. So that is called as exception handling. So handling in the sense, without making the customer worry about what is happening with the no my input, the person or the customer should understand what is the mistake that he or she is doing, and accordingly he has to change the way he's giving the input. So that is called as exception handling. So we have to think as a programmer what kind of mistakes that customer can do while entering the input, and how to make sure that the customer understands what is the error, and how to sort out that error is what called as exception handling. So if you want me to tell in general, like when you go to ATM and if you enter a wrong ATM pin, it will show through error, right? Invalid ATM. That means its database will internally verify whether your input is there or not in its database. If it is not there, it will throw an error. Not an error in that sense. It will just print a message that enter a valid input. So that the customer understands he is entering an invalid ATM, right? So instead of throwing error or crashing the system, it is taking care of these kind of errors. So this is called as exception handling. So in order to avoid this, we have a concept of exception handling. So whenever we have a doubt that customer might make a mistake, right? We can put that kind of code inside the try block. Okay, so exception handling has two keywords: try and catch. Okay, try and except, not catch. Catch is in Java. In Python, it is called as except. Okay, so here what happened? Instead of getting that error, division by zero error, I am getting a customized error message called as please don't divide number by zero. This is created by the developer, right? Not the user. So whenever user tries to divide or do these kind of unsupported operations, those should be handled, and appropriate error messages should be displayed to the user. So that is done using try and except block. So try colon you have to give, and inside the try block you have to write the code which you feel where the customer might make the mistake. So that kind of code you can put it inside the try block, and in the except block you have to customize your error message, what exactly you want to display to the user. So that is called as zero division. That is called as basically the exception handling, how you are handling the zero division error. Is it so? Completed? I think I just introduced. I think I have not completed it. Okay, anyone remembers it? Yeah, introduced is fine. So maybe I think I've not went in depth. I just told you how to use. I think maybe for some kind of functions, I think I've used it. Okay. Anyway, no problem. I won't take much time on this topic. I'll just quickly cover a few points and I'll move to the next topic. That is very important. Topic is bit manipulation. Okay, so here you see I'm trying to print C and there is no C, right? So if I directly try to print C without initializing it, so obviously what error I'm getting? Name error I'm getting. Name C is not defined. So already Python takes care of most of the error very user friendly manner. So by reading this error, you can understand what is the problem with your code. But still, if you want to customize yourself, you can just try to use try and except block and write the code appropriately. And as I told you, indentation errors cannot be handled. I think I might have mentioned indentation errors cannot be caught by the this except block. For example, uh, I have two variables a equal to 10, b equal to 20. Then if A is greater than B, for example. Right. Suppose next else block should start from here, right? What suppose assume that I will start the else block here and I'll write the print statement. Okay, so you can see your customized message is not coming, whereas the inbuilt error message is coming, indentation error. Unindented does not match any outer indentation level. So indentation errors cannot be caught by the try and except. Okay, so that you should be very careful. So if you think I can escape with the indentation just by putting my code inside try and except, that is not allowed. Okay, so please be careful. Just mention because it's one of the important interview question. Indentation error cannot be caught by the try and except blocks. Is that clear? Okay, so let's take some more example. Okay, so what is this problem here? I have a string variable which I'm trying to convert into integer and I'm trying to print it. So obviously we're going to get value error. So when you see this kind of error, some users might understand, some users may not understand. So this kind of thing can be handled carefully by the uh, developer while developing the code. For example, so we can check using if condition. If not type of X isn't right. For example, we can raise our own error. Okay. So here what I'm trying to, there is one more keyword called as rise keyword in Python. So you can note down this rise type error. Okay. Only integer variables are allowed. See here also you get the error. This is the user defined error. You will get the internal error also. Along with that, what you customized. This is customized by me, right? Only integer variables are allowed. That is also getting displayed. So whatever you throw it, type error, wrong input, make sure int is the variable, right? So whatever you customize, that also can be generated manually by the rise keyword. So here what we're checking, we are checking whether the type of this X is integer or not. So if it is not integer, then we will throw this error, right? So rise type error. So rise means basically you are creating your own errors, right? By understanding what type of error it is. So you know that it is a data type error, so you can rise the type error. Suppose if it is a name error, you can throw the name error. Similarly, if number is there, my negative number, and if that number is less than 0, we can rise exception. In this case, I'm using exception keyword. Just understand. Okay. So if I don't know what type of error I should throw, in this case, I know it is a type error, so it's easy to remember. So in a larger scale, if you don't know what type of error this might lead to, so you can just simply rise exception keyword you can use. So rise exception. Sorry, no numbers below 0. So here you will get that the keyword as exception and whatever the customized error message that you have done, you can use it. So this you can use it particularly if you know the type of the error. If you don't know the type of the error, you can use this exception keyword based on your requirement. Okay. So now let us put this try and accept, and we will also combine this one together. Okay, so in that way you can understand how to use this, right? So you can take, for example, uh, age. So we are checking if age is less than 18, arise exception, age less than 18, else print age is valid for voting. Okay, this we can put it inside a try. Okay, so let's take some lesser age. So now this is again customized one. So along with raising the exception, we are combining this code inside try and block. Okay, I mean try and accept. So try and this entire code we are trying to check. If at all the age is less than 18, we are raising this user defined exception, and this error message will be caught by this exception class. So in general, you can use just accept message, right? Suppose if you just write accept also, you'll get name is not defined. Okay, let's delete this. So you're only getting some error occurred here, but if you don't want to, if you want to check what exactly the error was thrown by this try block, you can just print that object that it is returning, right? So except, you can write the name of the exception, and you can just alias name you can give, except exception as E. So now I'm just printing that E object. So you can see along with that some error occurred, whatever the error is thrown by this rise keyword, that is getting printed. So this is how you can create your own user defined exceptions, right? And there is one more keyword is called, one more keyword is there basically. Suppose if you are, okay. So you can see this finally keyword means whether you are catching the exception or not catching the exception, it will always execute. So generally, finally keyword is used to check whether the code has run successfully or not without any error. So what happens is when this particular block of code try and accept is done, the finally whatever you write inside the finally keyword, that will always get executed. That means whether your uh, value is less or more, right? See here, after the error occurred, some error occurred, then done. That means execution is successful, but there is some error occurred, right? So if there are some important messages that you want to display, even though when the error has been caught by the except block, still you can make that finally data to be executed. Finally means it has to be executed irrespective of whatever the code that you are trying, whatever the errors that you are getting, whatever you write inside the finally keyword, that should be always executed. So this is, for example, how to tell this example is, uh, imagine, imagine that you have ordered something, and you are trying to order something in the Amazon or in the Flipkart, and in between because of the network issue, or there is some, your payment might be cancelled. But backend, the code has to run and make sure that you went back to your original login page, right? So that means even though the payment is failed, you can again restart. So finally keyword, basically such kind of code you can put it inside finally, where irrespective of the error message or the error itself, the data that need to be continued, that should be continued. or the execution that should be continued need to be continued. Even for example, even in like train ticket booking also, sometimes what happens is when you try to book the ticket through Tatkal, right? What happens? You may not get the ticket. But what happens after that is you will go back to your main login and your amount might be refunded, right? Later on. So you are trying to book the ticket, but if it is successful, fine. If it is not successful, you have to go back and get your refund, right? So that is how this is in real time people use it. So I'm just giving you a glimpse of how important this topic is in real time, so that you can learn it later on also. As of now, you need not to worry in detail about it. Just have an idea how to learn exception handling based on the requirement. Is that clear? So this is the main syntax: try, except, and finally. You can also okay, let me take one last example. Okay, so what we are trying to do here is trying to divide number by zero again. But in this case, we have mentioned specifically use zero division error only. That means it will only catch only accept the zero division error. For example, if I try to print some number which is not there, suppose I'll try to print a result. The result is not a variable, right? Okay. So in this case, it is printing the same error message. So there is no difference. Whatever you have customized, only that it will catch and it will print it. But again, if you want to catch the type error, so here we tried, right? Name error. So you can again customize one more except name error. Can you understand what is happening here? Why this is not printing and why this is printing? I've just reordered the output. First, I'm trying to catch zero division error. Then I'm trying to catch name error, but still I'm getting this error first. Yeah. So that you should understand, if there is an error based on the order of the input that you are writing, whatever the error that is caught, the first priority will be given to that particular error itself. So in this case, though you have written zero division error first, that will not be printed first, because before that there is one more error called as name error. So immediately control will go to this name error, and whatever you have customized here, that is getting printed. So in this case, variable is defined or not, that is getting printed. So you are not even going to this line. That is a very good question. Okay, so this is a very good question. Without even without finally also you can print done, right? But there might be a certain cases where like you are stopping the execution in between. You are not even reaching there. So in this case, it's a simple example what I've taken where there are no further operations that we are doing. It is just a name error and division by zero error. So imagine a real-time situation where you are got stuck in between some line, for example 100th line, but there are a few more lines after that which compulsory need to be executed as a code. right, as a code. So if you want to do that, then definitely you have to put it inside finally only. Otherwise, you will exit from that particular point itself. Okay. So finally is a very important keyword to make sure whatever the code that you want to run without worrying about the exception, that should always run. Okay. So you can understand in that way. As of now, like here, it's just a simple print statement. Maybe it is like you got confused. So maybe shall I take some example? I'm not getting what exactly to tell you. Yeah, you can take this example. So here they're trying to open this file, which is not there, right? They are printing this finally data. So what you are understanding here is they're not even reaching this except. Are you getting my point? They're closing here only. They're not even reaching this except block. So if there is an error in writing to the file, just close it. Don't do anything. Correct. So they're trying to open some file using open. Again, this is input output in Python. So as of now, we need not to know about this, but you just understand. So they have combined try in between finally, then last except. So basically, this error message is not even getting printed, but this is getting printed. Going to close. Yeah, file handling. So going to close the file means, so even though there is an error here, still this finally is getting executed. So in this way, you can understand. So most of the cases you will see only simple examples because as I told you, it's not widely used. Same example here also I have given. To just understand this simple way of understanding this except block and finally. See in this case, finally f dot close. That means after the error message, still the file should be closed, right? If you keep it open, there is a possibility it will be hacked or something, some modification can be done, right? So if you are not able to open the file, at least close it using finally keyword. So in that way. Anyway, I hope will it work? What you are asking, be specific. Will it work after return statement means I didn't get you what you are asking. After return statement, no. Once you come out of the function, you obviously it won't be executed. Okay. So moving on to the next topic. So did you guys take the yesterday's quiz? Do you have any doubt in that? Yeah. So all written answers were marked wrong. That is why the written answers are basically tricky because you need to know the syntax wise, output wise, how, what, whether we are using a space or comma, bracket are missing. So yeah, average is 6.5 to 7. Is the answer visible to you guys? I mean, okay, let me check. So here you are checking whether there is a tuple inside the list is instance. Is instance basically checks for whether it is a required data type or not. Is instance, I'm not taught, but you can explore. Is instance is basically checks whether the given data type is matching with what we are looking for. So here it's simple one where we are extracting last value plus 100 we are adding, converting it into tuple again for every tuple in the list. This will print as it is because it's a single value. Set default, as you know, it will create the dictionary key value. If the keys already exist, what does it do? It will just update it. If it doesn't exist, it will create it. Correct. So this one is also fine. Yeah, this kind of fill in the blank kind of questions might be tricky because you should know what you are typing. So here you are just reversing the tuple and printing it in the tuple format. And this one is a zip function, which I've explained to you guys. So it will take first and second value from each tuple and convert it into no, another tuple, right? So basically zip means accessing the index values one by one from the multiple list or tuple, which we have learned it in dictionary concept. Here also you are just concatenating, updating the existing tuple with a new tuple. This is fine. Okay, so yeah, these things are tricky, right? So here you need to know what value will come first and space. This girl has almost got it correct. So these are some tricky or might be easy. Those who have learned, it will be easy for them. If without knowledge, these questions cannot be able to answer with like clarity. So like this, I'll conduct a few more assessments. I'm making the questions still. Once I finalize it, we will do it in upcoming week. Okay, so in today's approach, bit manipulation, I think this suggestion was given by your mentors. Please concentrate on bit manipulation programs. And even I think I have given uh, for the assessment also few questions. I think in the second assessment, 2 or 3 questions I had given based on the bit manipulation. I think some of you might have already you have learned this in the first year, where like addition of two numbers without swapping of two numbers using bitwise operator, how exactly internally it will manipulate the bit and help us to get the data that we are looking for. So bit manipulation is not that easy to understand. You should practice very much hard to know it. Even like I do it every day. This is one topic where even I am learning consistently, because it's not easy to explain these things. Understanding is one thing, but how to convey this bit manipulation topics to students or like people is very tricky. So you need to practice every day and see internally what is happening on the bitwise level, right? Because you convert that values into bits and do some operation, and again try to get the required data. So for bitwise bit manipulation, few programs which I had already given. So we'll just take those examples which I had given in the assessment and then see how many of you understood it. Based on your understanding, I'll just explain further. Okay, so there was one question, right, where I had given count set bits. So what's the meaning of this question? Count set bits. Okay, suppose if you take the number as 9. So if you convert 9 into binary, how much it will be? 1001, correct? So you are just counting how many bits are set. Set means true values. So here the output should be 2, right? So that's what we are looking for here. Correct. So for this, uh, what is the logic that you have applied? Did you use some manual logic or using bitwise you have done? Manual in the sense, what logic you applied? Anyone? Okay. So let's quickly go through the how to think about these approaches. Is but convert into bit and string. Okay, okay, okay. Fine. That is a good thought. I mean, many people have done using string only, which I've seen in the exam also. I think very less people have used bitwise concept. That's the reason I'm covering this topic so that at least you try to do it using bitwise operators. And please don't always stick to the one approach. As I told you, this string part may not work in your assessment exams because they will give the whitelist and backlist concept. As I told you, whitelist in the sense only bitwise operators should be used. Blacklist means strings are not allowed. So if you're using string function, it may not work. So make sure, even though you are able to crack the output by, following the alternative approach, don't think that will always work. Be very careful with this bit manipulation questions. As I told you, these are very important topics, right? Especially if you're aiming for product batch, high product, higher package. Most of the companies exams, at least one or two questions will be based on bitwise operator, bit manipulation questions. So that means you need to use those concepts only. You can't use strings or any other brute force approaches. You have to stick to the question. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, like this only many people have done it. So let's understand this how to do it using bitwise. And one more way of giving the question in the company platform or in the other platform, which you might have already seen, they will generally give this kind of function and ask you to implement this function, right? So if you've seen in lead code, they will use some arrow mark like this and int. You know what is this arrow mark and int? And they will also write int colon num. This is not mandatory. I'm not written in any functions like this, but you might have seen in other platform. So what is this int colon and this arrow mark int? What does this mean? Or they will just mention int colon. So when you are practicing in your own compilers, this may not be required. This is for user understanding that yeah, input should be an int and the return value should be an int. Exactly. This is not output. I mean return value. So this function should return integer value only. That is what the understanding. But you need not to mention this always if you know what you are returning. That is for user clarity because they don't ask you to read the input and all that will be already written inside. They will only ask you to implement the logic. That means for this question, you need to just take this num and do the operation. You are not going to read that value manually. Okay. So in that way, you can understand what is that arrow mark. So as of now, I'm writing pass because I do not yet you know read the value from the user. So let's take the input value as 5. Input number is 5, value is 5. Then we will use the result variable. Then call this count set bits function and we'll pass this number. Then we can print that result. Number of set bits are. You can print that result. So now we are going to pass this number, which should be an integer value, and we can start implementing this particular function. Okay. So here before writing this code, you need to know a few important operations in bit manipulation. So if you take any number, integer number, and do AND operation with it with 1. You are going to find the least significant bit. Okay, so this is the first point you need to know. Okay, so what does it mean? If you take any integer number and do AND operation with 1 with it, you are going to find the least significant bit. So what you are going to understand here is you take some number like on this 9 only you can take 1001 and you can do AND operation with it with 1, right? So 1 means 0 0 0, right? 0 0 0. If you do AND operation with it, what you are going to get? 1 and 1 is 1 0 0 0. So you are going to find out what is the least significant bit of that number. So if you take any other example, 0 1 0 1, this is 5, right? And if you do AND operation with that, you will get 1 1 1 itself, here 0 0 0. So is it not the same as the original number, original LSB? This is LSB, right? LSB means least significant bit. So in general, if you want to extract the first bit from the right side from any number, what you need to do, you have to just do AND operation with 1 with that number. So you'll get that LSB value. So this is LSB and this is MSB. MSB means more significant bit, LSB means least significant bit. So our job is to find out this LSB means you just need to do AND with that. Okay, that is the first point. Similarly, you right shift a number by 1, it will help you to move to the next bit, right? Next bit. That means, so how to do the right shift? You have to use the right shift operator. So say, for example, I'll take a number as 5. This is the right shift operator and 1. So what does it mean? You are going to right shift this 5 by 1 position. So if you take the binary value, so 0 1 0 1, and you have to right shift by 1 means you have to shift it towards right side. So 1 means 1 time. So this 0 will come here, this 1 will come here, and this 0 will come here, right? So what you have done at this point, this initially this 0 was in the second position, now it came to the first position. That means you are iterating the binary value 1 by 1. So initially you access this one, now I want to access this one, means how to do it? You have to right shift that number by 1 position. So this is a right shift operator. So binary value, you have to take it and shift it towards right by 1 position, so that you are going to access the second bit from that number. So why we need to right shift? So in some cases, I need to iterate over the each bit 1 by 1, starting from LSB. So to do that, these two are the very important operations. I mean, for most of the bit manipulation questions, you might require these two operations, where you need to extract the least significant bit, and where you need to move the bit value and shift it by 1 position and iterate over the bits 1 by 1. So these two are the very important operations for any bit manipulation questions. Now for this counting set bits, we are going to use both the same approaches here. So initially, what is my job is to count the number of bits, right? So if you take the number as 1001, output should be 2, because there are two set bits. So that, what does that mean now? I have to first access this LSB and check whether it is 1 or not. Then I have to move to 0, then I have to move to 0 again, and then I have to move to 1. So instead of iterating that one by one, we are shifting them. That means once this is done, we will remove that, and then we will shift this position to the first position. Then again this zero, second zero again to the first position, then last one to the first position. So we are just bringing those values to the front and check whether it is one or not. So that is what the approach will be. So initially I want to assume the count is zero. Then this process should continue as long as your number is greater than zero, right? So because we need to count as long as the number is greater than zero. Why greater than zero? Because zero doesn't have any set bits. So obviously, until the number is greater than zero, we need to keep on checking for the set bits. So what we will do, we will take the result, then do this operation num and one. So as of now, you might have understood why I am doing num and one. Why I am doing num and one? This you can take it as 9. Yeah. So numband one will help me to access the LSB. So we access the LSB. Okay. Right. Then once I get to know the LSB, I'm going to add that into the count, because that if it is one, it will be updated count. If it is zero, it will stay as it is, right? So I just have to update if it is one or zero. If it is one, we will update it as one. If it is zero, we'll just add it as zero. Then once it is done, we have to do right shift. How will you do right shift? Num equal to num to angular brackets towards right side and one. Or if you want to combine them into single value, num greater than or equal to one. So this is a shortcut method, but if it is confusing, you can write it separately. Num equal to num greater than one. So at this point, what happened? Once this is updated, first digit is updated, we have to move to the next digit, that is zero. Who will help me to do that? This particular syntax will help me to do that. Okay. Now what is that missing? We have to return that, right? So the function is not returning anything. So if I write like this, see here it is giving invalid syntax. So that's why in general we don't use it, because that will be used in the class and object concept. So that's why it's not necessary as of now. So once this while loop is false, we have to return, where is my answer? The count variable. Okay, so we are getting the number of set bits are 2. So you can check any variable, any number. In 16, we have the set bit as 1. If you take 8, we have set bit as 1. If you take 4, 1. If you take 6, we have 2. So this logic will work irrespective of what is your number is, because it is working directly on the bits. So hope you understood this. These are the two important functions, I mean the operations that you should remember in the bit manipulation. And again, until someone teaches you, or if you learn, you will not know these shortcuts, because as I think some mentors asked me this one, many of you are not able to understand how to think about the logic. So before thinking about the logic, you should know these operations. So that's why you should explore more about the meaning of and, or, XOR, all these operations you should know, mathematical operations. Then you should try how this mathematical functions are changing the bit order based on the true and false condition. Then people will come up with the algorithm. So it's not just one day work, it's a years of hard work people put in to come up with these logics. So even this logic, even I have not learned myself, I have learned from somewhere, right? So it's only thing is that you need to know whether you are understanding or not this particular ways of implementation. So my suggestion for bit manipulation is you need to explore lot of content and get used to the operations, how it is working internally. You have to just imagine and think about it. Then you'll get some idea. Okay, this is how the bit manipulation can be used, right? So it's not just one day work. So just start today. Definitely will enjoy this because they are very they are very fast also. They are very memory friendly also. They won't consume any extra memory, extra time compared to the all the previous topics that you have learned. bit manipulation are the most fastest codes. That's why they give more importance to the people who are good in bit manipulation. So think about bit manipulation from now on. Whenever you are trying to learn, give more priority to that. Okay. So let's explore one more example based on that. Okay, so before going to this, I will also tell you XOR. XOR is like most important one. What is XOR? Anyone tell me what is XOR? What is XOR? XOR has two important properties. What are they? Yeah, very good. False when both are true. That's what is XOR, as when I said, right? So if you take two numbers, for example, 5 and 9, 5 is 0101 and 9 is 1001. So if you take XOR of these two, you are trying to see that whether both of them are same. Both of them are same, output is 0. If any one of them is different means output is 1, right? But what you are observing here, when I took difference, I mean when I took the 5 and 9 XOR in the output, what is the difference you are observing? Not the output, in terms of bits. Yeah. So when you are doing the XOR, you are just going to find out how many bits are different in both the values, right? How many bits are different in both the values. That result will store, you are storing it somewhere. Now, let's do one thing. This particular number, again, I'll try to XOR with, and take this number. What is my output? 1100, right? So this again, I'm going to XOR with 0101. What is my 0101? This is 5, right? And what is 1100? 12. So if I'm trying to XOR again back with this 5, imagine what you are getting. So 01 is 1, 00 is 0, 11 is 0, 10 is 1. You are getting this, which number you are getting? 9 you are getting. So what did you understand by this? What did you understand by this? Yes. Understood? Reversible difference. Yeah. So whenever you do XOR of two numbers, you are going to store the difference of those two numbers in some result. And once again, when you do the XOR with one of that number, you will get the other number, right? So in simple terms, this can be easily used for swapping or not. This can be easily used for swapping. First take A XOR B, store it in some result. Then again take that result XOR with A, you will get B. Then again take that result XOR with A, with B, then you will get A back. Correct or not? So you are doing swapping of two numbers without arithmetic, without temporary variable using XOR, right? So this is the important property of XOR. Hope you understood. Uh, so what is the first property? XOR of two numbers which are same will always result into 0. Correct or not? So if you take suppose 5 XOR 5, you will always get 0. You can cross verify, right? And the second property is XOR of a number with 0 will result into the same number. That is, if you XOR 5 with 0, what you will get? So how to represent XOR in any language is cap symbol. So cap is XOR. So note down. So here I'm using cap symbol. This is representing XOR. So these are the two important properties. XOR of two numbers which are same will result into 0. XOR of number with 0 will result into the same number. This you can cross verify again. Suppose if I take 10001 and I'm trying to XOR with 0, you'll get the same number, right? So 1001. And if I try to XOR with same number, suppose this is 1, this is 1, you'll get what you're going to get? You're going to get 0, correct? So XORing the number with itself will give you 0. XORing the number with 0 will give you the same number. So these are the two important properties of XOR, right? And one more point I told you. Third point, what is that? Which I just told you. XOR of two different number will store what? XOR of two different numbers will store what? The difference between both the numbers. Okay. I mean, not exactly in terms of integer, in terms of bits, which are reversible, right? So that difference can be reversible. So these are the important properties of XOR, which you need to know, right? So based on this understanding, we can use this particular XOR to find out the unique number from the given list. So here what I have, 2 3 4 5 3 4 2. I have some numbers here, but if you observe, all the numbers are repeated except 5, right? So 2 is repeated, 3 is repeated, 4 is repeated, but 5 is not repeated. So let's find this unique element from this list using XOR. So what I'm trying to do, you can analyze later on. So before that, I require one result variable, which is initialized to 0. So result equal to result of XOR of I. Okay, then we'll try to print what is there in that result. Okay, so simple. I'm getting 5, right? Output. Can you guys understand what is happening here? Okay, you take small list 2, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here I should get 3 as the output. Okay, so we are getting the unique number as 3. So what operation I'm doing here? XOR operation, right? So can you just think why this XOR is helping me to find out the unique number from the list? You can read this property. So what is a property? When you do XOR of the same numbers, the result will be 0, right? So you are doing the XOR with 2 and 2, then again this 0 will be XORed with 3, so your result will be 3, right? Then again this XOR you are going to make 3 XOR 4, 4 XOR 4, right? So you will get that number itself. That means when you do 3 XOR 4, you are storing the difference of this 3 and 4. Then again that result you are making XOR with 4 means you'll get 3 back, correct? In that way you are trying to find out the unique number, or in simple terms, if you observe, 2 and 2 cancel out, 4 and 4 cancel out, then only left out element is 3. So we are going to find out that missing number, I mean that unique number from the list. So XOR, left shift, right shift, AND operation. All these are very important, functions. XOR, I mean the bit manipulation functions, which you need to understand carefully. Okay. So there is one more question based on this, which you might have already learned. Okay. So again, to find out whether the given number is power of 2 or not. So we are using the combination of multiple, operations here. First, we need to check it is now greater than 0 or not. Then this XOR operation we are doing. So here, why we are doing this? Can anyone understand? This again, to understand this, you have to think about logically, internally, how it is happening. So you just first, if you understand what is power of 2, you take any example. For example, you take 8. 8 is 100 right? So in this case, what you are saying, whenever the number is power of 2, you take 16 also. 16 means 140, right? So whenever a number is a power of 2, its maximum bit, that is MSB, is always set to 1. Correct or not? You take 4 also. 4 is 100, right? So the highest bit is always set to 1. Correct? So whenever a number is a power of 2, its highest bit is always set to 1. That is one property. Then why we need to do this number minus 1? Okay. So if you subtract that number from, suppose you take, yeah. So if you take the number minus 1, so 100 is my number, which is 4. And if I subtract 1 from it, I'll get 3. So 3 in binary is how much? 0, 1, correct? And when you do AND operation, AND means what? Both the bits are same, means you will get 1, otherwise you'll get 0. So 0 and 1 is 0, 0 and 1 is 0, 1 and 0 is 0, correct? So this property has to be satisfied to check whether the number is power of 2 or not. So whenever you do AND operation with a number and that number minus 1, the result should be 0, which will indicate you that it is indeed a power of 2, correct or not? If you take some other example, suppose 5 you take, 5 is 1 0, sorry, not 1 0, 0 1 0 1. And what is 5 minus 4? 5 minus 1 is 4, right? So 0 1 0 0. So if you take AND operation with this, you will get what? 1 0 is 0, 0 0 is 0, 1 1 is 1, and 0 0 is 0. So in this case, you are getting the output as 4, which is not 0. So that means this 5 is not a power of 2, correct? So this is the property that we are learning. So whenever you do the AND operation with that number and number minus 1, that result should be 0, correct? And that is the reason we are using this AND operation and this particular logic, which will satisfy the given condition. So all this operation is happening internally, so that the like we are able to check whether it is power of 2 or not. So such kind of logics, if you want to understand, no, you have to be like thinking in terms of bits, in terms of bits only. Then only you can think, okay, if I do like this, this is how the logic will be. So in general, how to find out the power of 2 using bitwise operation? Take a number, do the number minus 1, and do the AND operation, and the result should be 0, right? So if you get that, you will be able to think that it is a power of 2. So here 100 and 0 1 1. And AND operation, if you take, right, the last bit is set or not, you will get it. So when the result is all zeros, means they are all opposite and the last bit is set. you are going to get that information as it is a power of 2. Yeah, n minus the knowledge gives 0 at mist. Yes, that's what you can understand. And similarly, I've just checked the your submissions when you guys submitted the questions during the internals, during the assessment. I have seen one code. This is the code. Smartly, they have used it, which most of you have used it or maybe copied. I don't know, but everyone have used this code. Okay, what is this code? You are trying to reverse a number in bitwise, correct? So if you take 5 as the input, what is 5 in binary? The minimum number of bits required to represent 5 is only 3, right? So 101 you can use. So 4 plus 1, 5. And if you reverse that in terms of bitwise, you will get the same answer. So 1, 0, 1. Same thing if you take 9. 9 in binary is 1, 0, 0, 1. Correct? And if you reverse also, you'll get the same number. You take some other example. Suppose if your input is 4, you are getting 1 because 100 is 4 in the binary. If I reverse it, what I'll get? 0, 0, 1, which is 1, right? So most of you have used this logic where you are converting that particular number into binary. What is this 2 you are using for? Because when you convert into binary, you will get 0b and the number. So you need to remove the 0b. So you are trying to access from the second index. Then you are reversing it using slicing, then again converting that number, that result back into the integer using this into function base 2. So basically you are doing the same thing, but not using bitwise, correct or not? So most of you got escaped with this logic. That's the advantage of Python. When when you are not able to stick to the logic, you have so many alternatives, alternative approaches to understand the problems, right? So, but my intention was to make you learn this using bitwise only. Okay. So, like how to do this using bitwise, I'll give the logic. You guys, now what you do after I give the logic, try to think it, trace it. I don't want to go in detail and explain. I'll give 2, 3 logics. Okay. You can note down how it is working internally. You can explore. And if you're not understanding, you can come and ask me personally, or you can ask me in the next session. So I'm going to write the logic, next 2, 3 logics. If you want, you can note down these logics and try to trace it, why I have used particularly in this way only. And then you will get an idea. There is one function in Python called as bit length. Okay. So please note down this. So what does bit length will do is, okay, let's take n equal to 5. Print n dot bit underscore length. What you're getting here? 3. Let me take 16. What you're getting here? 5. So can you understand what does this bit length is doing? Yeah. So basically, how many, minimum length of the bits required. So it is helping us to find out minimum number of bits required to represent the number. Correct? So that's what bit length is used for. So for the reverse of bits question, I'm trying to use this particular approach. So first I need to know how many bits are required to represent that number. Then only I can reverse, right? So number of bits required for representing that number. Then using for loop for I in range, number of bits. So we are going to loop based on the length of the bits that is required. So result equal to the result of 1 or n and 1. Then I'm going to do right shift. Okay. So this is the operation. Then I'll print result. Okay, so let's take the number as 4. I'm getting the output as 1. If I take the number as 16, output is 1 again. Like if I take the number as 170, output is 85. So it is matching our test case. So it's giving the same answer, right? But I want you guys to trace it. Why I've used this particular logic? What is the meaning behind this? Okay, why I'm doing right shift by 1 and then taking n and 1. Obviously, this you know, right? Why I have used this? N and 1 will result what? It will help you to locate the uh, least significant bit, right? Then I'm reverse, shifting it to the left by 1 position. So result will be shifted to the left by 1 position here, right? So we basically why we are doing this, we need to understand. Then after shifting the result to the left, we are performing OR operation. So what is the need of this OR operation? Basically, to reverse the last bit to the first bit, right? So we want to reverse that last bit to the first bit. So we are doing the OR operation. Then once this entire process is over, we need to move to the next bit, right? So obviously, I already told you, in right shift will give you the next bit in the order, right? So basically, this will access the last bit LSB and put it in MSB, and this will take the next bit in the order. So we are looping this as long as we are within the length of the bits. So try to trace this. I will ask this in the next session. Who understood this? You can explain in the chat box what you understood and what you didn't understand. Okay, so you can just try to think about the approach what I've used here and come up with your own answer. Similarly, swapping of two numbers, as you already know, it's a very important interview question. Don't think that in interview they will ask all difficult questions. They will ask all the simple question only. So last week we had 3 days of TCS interviews non-stop until evening 7, 8 o'clock. So most of the people were asking about prime numbers, Fibonacci series, recursion, all these basic questions that you are learning. So don't think they will go in depth about advanced problem solving techniques. They will always test your basic foundation and ask you whether you know in detail or learned. If you buy it and go, again you will be stuck there in the interview because they will ask you to explain. Suppose if I today I explained what is the meaning behind XOR, what is the meaning behind this code, why we have to use this. So all they want from you guys is whether you understood or not, because if you are having that understanding capacity, you will survive in the industry. So no one will expect you to do everything on your own, but if even if you're referring someone's knowledge, you should be able to understand and give a proper explanation. That's what the industry will look from you. So think in that perspective. So don't think that you should know everything. That is impossible. Nobody can learn everything. But whatever you're learning, you should know in and out. That is your goal should be. So like that, whatever I've written here, try to understand what is happening here and how this code is working. You can come up with that. Similarly, if you are taking this example, A equal to A XOR B, as I told you, this will store the result in the A difference. Then again, if I XOR that with A, we will get A value in B. Then again, I will XOR this final result with A. We will get B value in A, right? In that way, you are going to swap the two numbers, right? So the swapping has been performed. So you can do this kind of logic. And similarly, the very important logic, one more final logic I'm giving you is I think I had already given in the assignment. In what logic you applied for this? I think summation of n numbers you have applied, which I've already explained. But again, to do this, you can use bitwise. One comma, two comma, four comma, five. So in this case, which number is missing? Three is missing from the natural, right? Yeah, you can write both the ways because A XOR B or B XOR B, both are same. Yeah, you can write A XOR B itself if it is confusing. Same answer you will get. Okay. So again, this one more logic, please note down and try to trace it and understand. If at all you are not able to understand, please comment me. I will explain in detail. Yeah, that's what. Try to trace it and give me proper explanation in the next session. Okay, this is the code for finding the missing number. So to do this, what we are doing, first finding the XOR of all the numbers from the range of 1 to n plus 1. That means 1 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, XOR of all the numbers, right? Including 3. That is based on n value. Then the second for loop is doing the XOR of only the given numbers, right? So only the given number XOR we are doing. Here we are taking the XOR of all the numbers. Then this results, whatever we are getting, XOR 1 and XOR 2, that result, again, we are XORing with each other to get the missing number, right? So you can try to trace it, how it is working. As I already told you, the two properties of XOR are going to help you. So whenever there is a different number in that particular, here obviously 1, 2, 4, 5 is there. Here you will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, if you XOR with 1, 2, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously you'll get the missing number, right? So this is similar to your finding unique number, but a bit different way. But first you need to think about the range and take the XOR of all the range values. Then whatever the values they are given in the list, then take the XOR of both the values. So obviously you will be able to find the missing number of that particular list. And again, in Python, you may not need to use this. You can use the summation of a number logic itself, because in Python, we're not worried about the data range because it can be as big as possible. Suppose if I take 2 power 1000 and print that, can you see what is the number I'm getting? So this is 2 power 1000. So in Python, you are not going to worry about how big the data type is. So whether you are using this approach or normal summation approach, both will give the same time complexity. So you need not to worry. If you understand this approach, you can follow it, or else that summation of numbers n into n plus 1 by 2, that logic, you can use it. So both will be same time complexity only. But if the interviewer asks you, why can't you do it using XOR approach or do bit manipulation, then that will be a very crucial stage, because we don't know what kind of logic they are expecting from you. So you should know multiple approaches. If at all, if you're understanding, it's fine. If you don't understand, you can always be open and tell them this approach I didn't understand, sir. I know only one approach. You can just be honest in the interview. But my suggestion is you should know like multiple approaches. If at all, like if you're able to understand, it's fine. Otherwise, you can always learn in your own way. Correct. So this is about bit manipulation. And anyway, when you go to product batch, I think they will cover a lot of questions, advanced questions based on bit manipulation. Uh, One such question I will try to give you now. You can try it on your own and practice it. So one of the question was minimum clicks required to make A or B equal to C. This is the question. I think this is there in lead code also. You can just check it. So what is this question is given two numbers A and B. For example, assume A value is 2, B value is 6, and C value is 5. Okay. So if you convert into binary, A value is how much? 0, 0, 1, 0. B value is 0, 1, 1, 0. C value is 0, 1, 0, 1. So what they are looking for is whatever the digits that you are seeing here, you should flip them both on 2 and 6 so that the result will become 5. Correct. Both the values you need to shift it, and the result should be 5. Correct. So for this, I will give the logic. You can try it. So you can go from this order. Like for example, first you need to extract these information. See here, if the C value, this is our C value, right? You need to find out the LSB and check whether the C's LSB is 1, right? So if the C's LSB is 1, obviously you need not to do anything. You can just keep it as it is, correct? Suppose if the C's LSB is 0, here you need to have 0, right? Suppose here 0, 0 means what is that you need to do to get 1 here? And operation will not help you to make it as 1, right? So how will you get 1 here based on this operation? Or operation I can use. I'll make this one of the bit as 1. So suppose I'll make the 0 as 1. So I'll get 1 here, right? Then if both the bits are set, you need not to worry, right? If both the bits are set, again you need to change at least one of them, correct? Because I want here 0. So here 1 1 is there. 1 1 means in the OR operation, 1 1 means 1. So your output will not be 5. So instead, if I change this 1 to 0 or both zeros, if I change 1 to 0, it will not work. I have to make both the zeros. So here also 0, here also 0 means this will become 0, right? Then here I have to keep it as it is because 0 1 is 1 itself, 0 0 is 0 itself. Now after I modified these 2 bits and this 1 bit, I got the output as 0 1 0 1. Now to get the output C equal to 5, how many bits I had to modify from A and B? One from, I mean, from which variable you are modifying doesn't matter. We are looking for how many bits we need to modify, either A or B, doesn't matter. So totally we modified these 2 bits and this 1 bit. So 3 bits we modified to get the required result, right? So that in that way you can understand. So you can basically go in the order of C, right? Suppose these are the two numbers you have to check. Here what you need to check, if both the bits are 0 means obviously you need at least 1 to be changed so that you get the required result, right? Similarly, if the C value is 0, you need to take the result of these two. Suppose here the bit value is 0, right? So you have to just keep adding these two to get the desired result. So if it is 0 plus 1, I'll get 1. If it is 0 plus 0, I'll get 0 itself. So if C value is 0, any one of them will be fine. But if both the values are set means we need to be careful. We need to change at least one of them to get the desired result. So this is the question which is like Sir, will the operator be different or only or? I mean, I'm giving the hint. You can use a combination of MSB operator, which I told you, that is n and 1. You can use n and 1 to get the MSB. Then you can use, what else you can use? To move to the next bit, you have to use right shift, right? These two is more than enough. Okay, combination of these two you should use, and you should know when to increment the counter, right? So when the C value is, when the MSB bit of C value is 0, you need to take addition of both the MSB bits of A and B and update in the count. Otherwise, if the MSB bit of C is 1, what you need to do? You need to check whether, if it is 1, simple, see. Suppose if there is C MSB bit is 1, and if A and B's MSB bits are 0 or 1, you need to check. Suppose if the A's and B's, both the MSB bits are 0, means obviously you need to update any one of them, correct? So that you get this 1. So 0, 0 will not give you 1, right? So if I change this to 1, I'll get 1. But if the MSB bit is 0, if the MSB bit is 0, and here A value is 1 and B value is 1, means will changing of only one bit will help me to get 0? No, right? I have to change both the bits to get 0. So that is what you need to understand. So if A and B value, okay, understand here. If the MSB bit of C is 0 and A's MSB bit is 1 and B's MSB bit is 1, tell me, will changing of just 1 to 0 will help me to get 0 here? 0 and 1 is how much? 1, right? So obviously it will not help me. But if I change this 1 also to 0, am I not getting this 0 here? So C is matching with 0, correct? So you need to think about this condition. If MSB bit of A and B are same, then what is the MSB bit of 0? If MSB bit of C is 1, then you need to just alter one bit. If it is 0, then you need to alter both the bits. It all depends on what is the MSB bit of A, B, C. Based on that combination, we are checking how many bits we need to alter to get the desired result. Okay, so if it is 0, basically what you have to do? So if it is 0, you directly add a counter variable to A plus B. I mean, A's MSB bit you take and B's MSB bit you take, you just add it. If they are same, right? If they are same or if they are different, doesn't matter. If it is 0 means, see, for example, I want to get 0, right? MSB bit is 0, right? So what I will do, suppose assume A's bit is 0 and B's bit is 1, correct? So obviously, 0 plus 1 will not give you 0, right? I have to change this into 0, correct? So obviously one bit I have to modify. So when it is 0, I'm modifying only one bit. When it is 1, I have to modify 2 bits. So in that way, you need to keep track of how many variables, how many bits you are changing. So it's a bit tricky question. Try to think logically based on whatever the inputs I have given. If you are not understanding, come and meet me or remind me in the next session. I will give the complete explanation for that. But hope you understood how this logic is going to work. Any doubts in this logic? At least hope you understood the logic. I mean, OR operator also not required. You can just use these two combination. Any doubt? Can we wind up for the day? It's already 8:20. Any doubt in this question, guys? Did you understand at least? Is it interesting or not? Something went to your head or not? Okay, Manoj couldn't understand at all. Yeah, fine, no problem. Just try it once. Use the combination of these two, operations. Just try to compare the MSB bits. You need not to take OR operation. take the MSB bits of all the variables A, B, C, right? And check whether it is 0 or 1. If it is 0, you need to do the addition of MSB bits of A and B. If it is 1, you need to check whether both A and B are 0. Because if it is 1, we have to check whether both A and B are 0. Only then we need to do the +1 of the counter. Otherwise, we need not to do it, because any one of the OR operation is 1 means the output will be 1, right? So based on that comparison, you have to do it. So try to do it using bitwise manipulation functions only. Don't try to use some, your string logic and all. Just apply this concept. And please remind me if you couldn't do it. I'll be explaining this in the next session. So next session we'll do it on next week, and I'll be adding some programs based on data structures, linear search, binary search, all the sorting techniques in the upcoming days. So we'll be having some more problems updated in the model. Okay, so next week we will be discussing. I think I forgot about random model. It's not important, just you need to know what is random model. We will cover this and intro to DS using Python. So just revise your sorting, searching techniques in Python and come to in the C, whatever you learned, and come to the next session. Okay. Based on that, I'll be adding new programs. So fine. So keep revising this bit manipulation, whatever I explained today. I hope you got something at least understood. We'll see few more programs, few more examples in the coming session. Okay. So see you in the next session. Thank you.